So boom. The first, I'm gonna pull up my credit and I'm gonna show you guys step by step what the different credit factors are and what they mean, and how you can maximize every single area of your credit to result in getting a high score. Because if you get in every single area, just like anything in life, they all add together and they make something perfect. So if you want to get that perfect high credit score, this is how you're gonna do it. So the first thing is credit utilization. So what is credit utilization, you might be asking? So that's how much you utilize of your credit, or how much you use of your credit. So you never want to go over, a rule that I follow is never going over 10% of my credit utilization. So that's 10%. Let's say I got $1,000. Easy, simple number, $1,000. So what's 10% of $1,000? That's $100. So let's say you get a credit limit of $1,000. You don't want to go over $100, because why? Because we said we don't want to use over 10% of that. The banks look at it as if you're using too much of your credit, you look a little susceptible to not pay it back, because if you need all of this money right now, why would you pay us back? Why do you need all of this money at once? It just looks a little bad to the bank. So if they see you're using 80% of your car and you haven't paid it off, and now it's reporting, dang, they just used $800 and they haven't paid it back, we gonna ding their score a little bit. And that's why credit utilization is important to keep low. Next, credit utilization was a high impact area, and this next one is also a high impact area. So payment history. So we talked about utilization, which is making sure you pay on time. No, let me just stop. So credit utilization is a high impact area, and this next one I'm going to talk about is also high impact. So the next one I'm going to talk about is payment history. So with payment history, that's making sure you don't miss payments. So a good rule that I recommend, and what payment history is, before I go into that rule, is just making sure you always are paying on time. So you don't want to miss a payment, because when you miss a payment, that counts as a missed payment on your credit, and then that's going to ding your credit score down even more. So the first thing we talked about was utilization. So you want to make sure that you don't use more than 10%. And now we're talking about payment history. You want to make sure you always pay on time. And a good rule, like I was just about to mention, is to put your credit on automatic payments, at least at the minimum payment, which, depending on your credit limit, maybe 15, 20, 30, 40. It's going to be a lower number than obviously the full payment. So you want to put that on automatic payments. So let's say you forget to pay your credit card, because usually you might do it manually, but you might have forgot this month, and now that you forgot, now it's impacting your credit because of something so small. So it's good to put it on automatic payment, so that way it's taken care of at least at the minimum payment, and then you can come in and pay off the rest whenever you see fit during that time of the month to pay off your card. So again, I say, do not miss any payments. This is something that will affect your credit big time, because this is a high impact area, just like credit utilization. But credit utilization, you can always get that down. A missed payment, you can't ever get that removed off of your credit. It's going to take a few years to get that off of your credit. Missed payments don't just come off easily. So that's why this is really a high impact area that I'm trying to stress on. So another high impact area, which kind of goes hand in hand with payment history, is derogatory marks. So you don't want to get any derogatory marks, which count as missed payments, foreclosures on homes, and different things like that. It's basically something that they put on your credit saying that you missed a payment or you didn't fulfill an obligation. So that's pretty simple. Don't miss payments and you won't get any derogatory marks. So the area that I'm about to talk about now, it's a medium impact area, but this is one of the ones that's holding my credit score back from, I think, getting to the 800s, which is the time that you've had credit. So I've only been building my credit for about 4 years, 3 to 4 years. And it takes the average of your car. So even though I started 4 years ago, I might have got cards a few years later, and it brought down my average credit history. So I think my credit history is only around 3 years and some change. So the banks want to see 4 years plus, and they want to see that you've had credit for a while and that you've paid it back for a long time. And that's how they deem you more as seasoned. So people who've had credit for 30 years and their profiles look amazing, they're probably 800 to 850 credit range. So that's what I'm trying to get to. It's really just a flex. Anything over 750 is honestly good, but I just want to get to the 800 just to say I'm in 800, and you should too. But so the point of that is, take your time. You can't really rush it. It's just something that you have to wait on, and that's what another kind of lesson, to be honest, with anything in life. You just gotta wait and put that time in. This next one I'm finna talk about, this next area of this credit that I'm gonna talk about is total accounts, which is a low impact area, Me personally, I don't have a lot of open accounts because I don't really just be applying for credit. And the same with, I'm gonna just combine these two. And the next one is inquiries. So inquiries and total accounts. You don't want to have too many accounts because that just looks like you're applying for too much credit and then you just have a bunch of things open. For me personally though, but to the credit bureaus that looks good, but for me personally, I don't keep too many open accounts. It's good to have 5 to 7, I would say, so that way you have a different mix. So for me, I've had car loans, I've had regular loans, just any type of different credit you can get, installment cards, secure credit cards. They want to see that you've had different home loans. They want to see that you've had different types of credit mixes and you're able to pay them off and you're able to be responsible. So that's why they look at your credit mix. If you just had a credit card and you've just been using it for gas, how does that show me that you can pay off a home? How does that show me that you can pay off a car? So that's usually why when people get cars, they have to start off. They're not gonna get approved for your first car. You're not gonna get approved for a $100,000 car, no matter how much income you have without putting money down. That's why credit is king. Let's say, I wouldn't even say credit is king. I say cash is more so king. They go hand in hand. Together, you're powerful if you have cash and credit. But anyways, back to what I was saying. If you're going to apply for a car loan, you're not gonna get a high amount unless you have good credit or you put down a lot of cash. So that's why you want to start off early, building that credit and adding different things to your credit. So it's good. Start off with that $20,000 car, have that paid off, then you upgrade from there. You can't just go straight to $100,000. You got to build that credit and show the banks that you can pay off lower amounts so you can get approved for those higher amounts. And for the inquiries, like I was saying, you don't want to apply for too much credit at once because to the banks, they'll see that, oh, this person must really need money from us if they're applying for 8 credit cards in one day. So you don't want to apply for too much credit at once. And if you do, there's certain ways to go about it, so that way you only get one inquiry for what you're applying for. But that's something that you'll have to do more research on outside of this video. But regardless, I feel like this was a good rundown of what makes up your credit score. Dive deeper into the areas that I talked about and really learn them for yourself, and download Credit Karma or any honest credit report app. I'm not sponsored or anything, but any credit app that you can look at what makes up your credit and how you are doing in those areas. Your payment history, you should always have 100% right there. If you don't, you need to just from now on do better, and then usually those payments come off. But for any area, see where you're weak at and see what you can fix, and just keep going. So that's the end of this video. I hope and wish 800 credit scores on everybody, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.